Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AHA by Ayusha. What you are listening to is the fourth episode. We are living in times where even the slightest of discomfort makes us want to turn into a burrito. But life is all about second chances, fueled by hope and backed by faith. There are so many stories that make us want to believe that destiny exists and miracles happen. But for a person who lives it, the only thing that matters is how they gather the courage inside them and see through the darkness, even when darkness is the only thing that persists. Sharing one such chapter from his life, we have with us today Tushar Raj Sharma. Born and brought up in Guwahati, Assam, our inspiration for the day had a rather intriguing childhood, having to change over 5 schools because of his twisted idea of fun and enjoyment. He was the second and the unplanned of 2 brothers and lived with his parents. It was in the year 2007, when he was 15 years old, that he lost his entire family in a landslide. He was the first one to be rescued, but when he was informed of the tragedy, he remembered how his father always told him that every person who walks this planet is only here so long as they deserve it, and the only thing he asked himself was, do I deserve to live? From there on, he took charge of his life and worked a little every day to be worth what his faith had decided for him. So hello Tushar, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting to your podcast. I have been a big fan of your this podcast, and thank you for. I'm honored.
Thank you so much for being here today, Tushar. So my first question to you is, are there parts of you that feel angry for what happened?
Until a few years after the incident, I was being very angry. But I feel as I grew and I saw the world little more around me, my problem seemed to be small in front of everything that was happening to the all of the people. One more thing always actually in my mind is there are 2 things in the world. One is in under your control and other one is not in control. The things which are your control, you should take it very responsibly and take mindful of it.
Thank you, Tushar. That was very beautifully put together. My next question to you is, how do you think your perception of life is different than those around you?
Life is something which is very interesting and unpredictable always. The base part is always today is a new day, tomorrow is a new day, and day after tomorrow, and go on, isn't it? So that's the beauty of life. I never let my life tragedy to define me. For me, what happened was a very small part of a bigger plan. When I see people around me, most of the people today let difficult situations affect major part of their being. But it was never that for me. I felt more practical, more energetic every day. Because one thing I always knew that if I lament onto that particular incident always, it is not going to help me in the long run. Because life has to go on, isn't it?
Very true, Tushar. Thank you. So, what is it that you tell yourself every day?
I usually do not have any philosophy in my life, but one thing always I keep in mind is that do good, good will come to you. It's a vicious circle, isn't it? I'm a living example of this. I may not have done good to all of the people around me, but I consciously never caused any harm to anybody. Goodness kept on coming back to me.
Thank you, Tushar. With this, there's just one last question that I'd like to ask. What is the one thing that you would like to tell our listeners today?
What I personally practice in my life and what I personally believe is that never ever bother yourself with the definitions of other people. People always say whatever they have to say. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. That's a very beautiful song, isn't it? But thing is, what you believe is right is always right, and it will give you satisfaction even if it is not. At the end, happiness matters.
So follow your heart, because that is what will lead you to peace and happy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Tushar, for doing this with us today. It was lovely speaking to you, and I hope there was something from your story that our listeners today can take back. I wish you all the luck in your life. So, thank you so much for listening all through this episode. This is Ayusha, and I'm signing out. I'll see you next week with another inspiring story. Until then, like, share, and subscribe to Aha by Ayusha.